learn from them? What golden nuggets can we actually take from them as well? So today, who's on the spotlight? Well, we have Sister Reezwanah Seedat. She's a food blogger, recipe developer, digital creator, Treats by Reez on Instagram. I'm sure many of you know her. It was an absolute delight for me to also be her host to her cooking demo at the Durban Summer Souk as well. It was absolutely wonderful watching her in action. Now, Reezwanah Seedat is a mum of 5 boys, subhanAllah. She also has a B.Ed degree. She's an author of 2 cookbooks, Treat Yourself Edition 1 and 2. Reezwanah has a cooking for passion and creating recipes. Now, Treat by Reez generously shares her daily recipes on Instagram, so you can go and follow her and find some of those. And obviously, whenever you're stuck, there you go. All recipes are simple to follow using basic ingredients, readily available. And of course, she has this artistic flair as well, which she brings through. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Reezwanah. Welcome to Urban Women.
Wa alaikum assalam, Sister Razia. Jazakallah for having me on air this morning, and it's so lovely to speak to you again after our brief meet at the Al Ansar food demo last year.
Absolutely. It was so wonderful watching you and the chef in action. And I have to say that I also got myself one of those great pots that you guys were using. It's wonderful. And I always think about you. And obviously, once again, listeners, you can follow Reezwanah on Instagram, Treats by Reez. Now, I want to ask you, what actually inspired you, Reezwanah, to start sharing your recipes on Instagram? And also, how did you come up with the name Treats by Reez?
Okay, so basically the inspiration behind my whole page would definitely be my family. As my family started growing, so did my love for food. And each one of my boys derived, so I have 5 sons, so each one of them derived their own taste and love for food. And in that way, my page started growing, and I started creating new and different recipes, obviously to suit each of their taste buds. And obviously the name Treats was basically what I initially started sharing on my page. So I initially started off with basic treats like bakes and goodies and, little no-bake treats. Yeah. That's how the name Treats came up. So it also came up, I think, because there is always some sort of home-baked goodie or treat in my home. So that's how the name got derived. It is actually my husband's idea. And then obviously the second part is the first part of my name, which is Reez. So that's how, it's Treats by Reez. And then it basically came together so nicely with my logo. So I think I just stuck to it. And I think the initial name and logo I started off was, I had put together when I had my first interview on ITV with Sister Zahira Ismail. Right. So that was the first year that I had started my page, and they had called me to Johannesburg to be live on TV. Wow. And Alhamdulillah, that's where my page took off, and I started growing, and the motivation came, and I am today almost a brand with my 2 cookbooks and things.
Indeed. It was so wonderful to be able to watch you in action. Now, I want to know, with a B.Ed degree, what led you to transition from education to food blogging and also recipe development?
Okay, so after giving birth to my 4th son, Yusuf, that's when I stopped. That was the last of my teaching, basically. And then I decided to take a break away from teaching. So in between all my boys, I used to teach at the Islamic school here, and on and off. And then I had my kids. And after Yusuf, I decided, you know what, I'm going to take a break away from teaching. My kids were all in the growing stages, primary school, going up into the senior phase. And this is when, exactly after Yusuf was born, which is almost 8 years ago, that's when Treats by Reez started. So it was basically, I never knew anything about social media, Instagram. My sisters actually introduced me to it. And I decided, and they actually said to me, you know what, there's a thing such as Instagram, and this is there were few like peer pages that we were following. And at that point, Treats by Reez was born. And I basically just randomly started sharing day to day. Like if you scroll right down to when I first started in 2016,
Right.
you'll see like I would share a random bake or at that time it was mostly treats, like I said,
Yes.
or something or the other, smoothie or a cake or something that I had made. And as time grew, the need for recipes, as my followers began growing, the request for recipes came up, and then that's when I officially decided to. So I actually started a food blog where I would share stories behind my recipes, and then now I think with to make it easy for everyone, I just put it in my caption. I think that's what everyone wants, and that's the requirement, and that's the demand. But
True.
yeah, that's basically how the transition came about. And Alhamdulillah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. My passion for food, styling, photography, everything is just like, it's just there. And I'm also working
Definitely.
on book 3 for my
Mashallah.
recipe book collection.
Uh-huh.
So I think, I think for me, I am happy in the space. I will definitely
Subhanallah.
go back to teaching at some point later on, because now I have my 5th son, Zaid,
Uh-huh.
who's just a year old as well.
Oh, sweet.
So I think for now I'm happy in this Treats by Reez phase or stage.
It gives you that balance. And I mean,
Mm.
definitely you have a passion for it. And I always believe that no matter where you are, like I myself can share how many things I've studied, how many things I've tried out, and eventually you get pushed to where your passion is, where you need to be. And then you just feel like, yeah, this is definitely my vocation. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. So that's beautiful. Now, you mentioned you have like 5 boys, subhanAllah. And you also said that each one has basically their own taste buds, their own palates, and you're always trying to accommodate all of them, which I think is so amazing. And I think this is such a beautiful message to mothers out there that are listening, because sometimes we can feel the sense of heaviness, like my children are always hungry. No matter how much I feed them, they're always hungry. So you kind of changing this whole perception. And so instead of seeing it from that light, enjoy it. It's love. It's a ni'mah. Allah blessed you with motherhood, taking care of your family. There's reward. And look, subhanAllah, it has turned into something so amazing for you, a business, and you have such a great following. And I must share with you that a few years ago, my daughter obviously was much more little, primary school, and I was sharing with my friend Shanaz. She often listens to Radio Al Ansar. And I was telling her, I just get stuck for lunch ideas. And she said, go on Instagram, follow Treats by Reez. She has such lovely things. So I did actually, and it's wonderful to chat with you. Now, as a mother of 5 boys, how do you actually manage your time between family responsibilities? Because we can hear the passion for being an awesome mom is definitely coming through, as well as maintaining your social media presence, which is also very time consuming.
Okay, so this I get asked really quite often. I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, how do you do it? And how do you even still manage to share your things on Instagram and this and that?" So I would have to say, like I started off, my boys are actually my biggest inspiration. So basically, my entire page is based on meals, bakes, and treats, which I actually prepare for my family.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I'm going out there and now doing something especially for Instagram. Okay, I do that sometimes if I have to collaborate with a brand, or there's a specific recipe or specific ingredients that I've been given, and that I need to follow certain requirements. Then obviously I do something, but even then I do something that my kids and my family would enjoy. So I work around a recipe that they would love and enjoy. So yeah, back to how do I cope and how do I manage? So what I do is the meals, the recipes, and everything that I prepare is obviously my day-to-day meals. So I generally try to prepare some content in advance. So I try, but ever since my little one's born, I have been a little slack. I've been repeating some recipes. If you're following me from those years, then you would notice. But it's just basically content that I keep in my drafts or keep and then I share them on days where I feel, you know what, today is a suitable day for a soup, or today is a nice day for a casserole,
Yes.
or today is baking inspiration day. So I try to keep content, like even my mom was here last week, so I created some content with her, and that was such a hit because a lot of people were like, because we made masala roti and lasan roti, so a lot of people
Nice.
didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
So I tried to, like, you know, have content created, and I just like edit them and share them off when I see like, you know, when there's an opening or when I feel it's a suitable time. And even when I bake, like if I'm baking today, for example, then I'll try to video it or photograph it and keep the content so that I always have content, because at the end of the day, social media is such a thing where, I mean, you'll get forgotten if you do not continuously keep up and share content. And then in terms of social media management, I manage my page and my social media all by myself.
Right.
So I try to manage it and keep keep all of my, if I'm doing collaborations, so I try to manage that in times that my kids are at school, or like I said, I create the content in advance. So, you know, during their school times, then I know, you know, I'm ready with this. I always like to work in advance.
Right.
So I think when I have a few collabs and when I'm quite busy, then it does get a bit hectic. But then I create a little schedule, like, you know, if a specific item or ingredient from the collaborator is suitable for something that I can prepare for my kids, then I have that ready, and I create a recipe or something, you know, that will suit my kids. So I think that's how I find a balance with my social media and managing my 4 boys. It is taxing. I do have quite I think my kitchen is like open 24 hours a day. It's like a full time. Yeah. So it's like the morning's breakfast, and then it's school lunch, and then it's home lunch, and then it's supper. So it's like always, you know, and then the kids are always in the kitchen for something. So I always try to keep something like especially school times, because school days, like when the kids come home after lunch, they look for something. So they're like, what sweet do I have? You know, like any treat. They actually call it a treat. So I always I always have something for them. If it's not custard and jelly or dessert or like that Marie biscuit treat, so I try to make something on a daily basis, because I always have eaters in the house. So and I think it keeps me going. It's something I enjoy doing, and it also allows me to create content for my page to satisfy my followers. So I think it's a win-win all around.
Absolutely. So in a nutshell, basically it's about time management, and you're doing that quite well in order to juggle between the both. Now, you know, everything does come with challenges. As you also said, you know, it's taxing, and that's the reality of life, but you found a way to navigate through that. Now, when it came to actually publishing your books, what were some of the challenges that you found with your first and second edition as well?
Okay, so I think the biggest challenge for me was the editing part. The editing, and then going to the printers and having everything perfect in terms of the colors. And I suppose when you, because I photograph all of my my content and my recipes and things by myself, I mean, getting everything perfectly printed, I think that was the biggest challenge for me, because we had a bit of, you know, sometimes it was blur or sometimes it was getting too dark. So I think that took me like maybe a full day to sit there at the printers and to check with the colors and if they got everything perfect how I wanted it. And
because I observed you working, you are somebody that likes perfection because you have this clear vision of what you want your platter to look like. I've observed that, so I fully understand.
Gee, no, definitely. And I think that for me was the biggest challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, I think because I had most of the recipes ready and because I'm sharing them on my socials on a daily basis, and most of my photographs were ready, apart from a few, new recipes that I would want, I have shared in book two, especially.
Right.
I had, I would then have them ready and quickly take the photographs, style them,
Great.
and so I think that was a bit challenging. But I think all in all, the most challenging, which you asked me, is definitely the editing
Yeah.
and then perfecting the printing.
Yes.
The quality that you want.
Okay.
Obviously, you want to give I wanted to give my followers what they're seeing on Instagram.
Uh-huh.
That quality, that
Standard.
brightness, that color.
Yeah.
And Alhamdulillah, shukr, I think with all that, all the hurdles and challenges. And I think my first book I did during COVID. So I had a lot of time to get everything, that put together. So shukr, both books were a real hit. And
Alhamdulillah.
inshallah, I'm looking forward to putting together book 3.
Alhamdulillah.
So,
Allah
gee,
Azza wa Jalla grant you success and afia with that as
Ameen,
well. And make the editing
Ameen.
smooth. Now, you know what, Reezwanah, let's face it, before we know it, the holidays will be over. With the school
Mm-hmm.
holidays coming to an end shortly, what recommendation do you have as a back to school lunch? Anything you can quickly share with us?
Okay. So we just have a week left now. So what I've done is I've already had I've got all of my savories ready. Those are so what I do is I have like a different menu for their lunch boxes, and once a week is a savory, sometimes twice a week.
Okay.
So I've already got all my savories. So if your kids are savory lovers, I would suggest get some your my piri piri chicken pie recipe is a hit.
Okay.
So get your pies done, and then also some samosas. My jalapeno samosas are generally a hit Ramadan time and for school lunches.
Sounds
And it's
good.
actually my kids' favorites.
Uh-huh.
And then a few other tips I would suggest. I think by the weekend before school, even on Monday, because I think school's opening on Tuesday, cook up a basic versatile chicken filling, which the recipe's also on my page.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that in your freezer, maybe keep half in your fridge. So that works so well with if you want to do mini subs or mini buns, even shawarmas, chicken wraps. So just basically top it with a lovely creamy sauce and some lettuce, cucumber, your veg, and pack it in their lunch boxes. So that's one of the tips. Another tip would be to obviously get all your fruits and vegetable sticks that you want to pack in the lunch boxes ready.
Right.
Your snacks and your sides. If you're buying snacks or if you're baking little, the Marie biscuit treat and the date and Marie biscuit board recipes on my page, that's also really nice to add into your lunch boxes. It also gives the kids a little bit of energy.
Absolutely.
And even crunchies, the crunchy oat crunchy recipe that I have on my page. But I do have a lunchbox section in my page, so you can search the hashtag lunchbox inspo by treats by Reez on my page. And I obviously closer to school, I do share it on my stories just to get share some inspiration. And then also another hit is the zinger chicken strips.
Mm-hmm.
So marinate it in advance, keep it, and then just coat and air fry or shallow fry for the kids in the morning. And then simple lunches, like I said, with the versatile chicken filling, you can do toasted chicken and mayo, or you can do tuna and mayo. There's so many, there's so many things to do. Even plain peanut butter and jam sandwiches. I think for the younger one, cut it in little shapes, or cute little stars or moons or whatever. You get such lovely cutters now.
True.
So I think that's for me. It's just now that my kids are much older, I think they want like shawarmas, wraps. So I keep the fillings ready and then I just do it in the morning. Keep your wraps as well. You get store-bought wraps, or you can do fresh homemade wraps, mini buns, mini subs. They also freezer suitable. So I think even mini pizzas, this versatile chicken filling works so well on pizzas. So I think all of those just like, weekly just makes things so much easier.
Absolutely. Bring us back to time management planning in here. So we have this weekend,
Yes.
inshallah, to get ready with all of that. So we got about a week to get
Definitely.
organized. It's been so wonderful chatting with you, Reezwanah, and thank you for sharing all your wonderful tips and how you enjoy what you do, and you always share so generously on your page as well. Till we connect again, you have yourself a lovely day further. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Wa alaikum
barakatuh.
assalam. Jazakallah.
Barakallah. And that was Reezwanah Seedat on Instagram. Many know her. Follow her. Treats by Reez. And yes, you are not alone when it comes to your lunch ideas. She will share with you. Time for a break, and then we have to wrap up. Urban Woman, sponsored by